All right. I've been gone for a minute. All right. I've been gone for a minute. And this isn't going to be a gaming stream. Maybe we'll do that later. I just wanted to talk about the NFL because that shit started this weekend. The script was released and it was beautiful and brutal in different ways. I just wanted to basically go over the games and just say what I saw and what I got from it and then touch on my team real quick. I'm gonna do this as long as I can. Hopefully, I can get through all the games before my son wakes up because he's taking a nap right now. Uh, I ain't gonna be really paying attention to the. I'll only put my screen on. To the chat until afterwards. Let's put reactionary on. So, I just got the ESPN GameCast stuff on. I'll just go through the games. Go from there. So, obviously, if you pay attention to NFL, you notice that we had Thursday night opener, which I didn't know. It's weird because I pay attention to football all the time, but I didn't realize that Thursday night was openers now, man. Or maybe I just never thought about it when they were out. Anyway, so you have the defending Super Bowl champion against the up and coming Lions. Everybody is talking about the Lions. I feel like because either you think they're pretenders or you think they're contenders. To me, the Lions looked like they're ready to make some noise, man. I know Kansas City was missing some pieces, but they stayed in the Lions stayed in the game. Running game was decent. Goff looked nice in the beginning. That dude did not look like regular Jared Goff to me. And I've always been super critical of Jared Goff in his game. Pat Mahomes, I mean, he didn't do horrible, but the absence of Kelsey is very evident in these games. And in the games that he does miss, it's crazy because a tight end in the NFL today shouldn't, in my opinion, be changing the game to that. I don't know. I can't even think of the word. That basically shouldn't be changing the game to that point. It shouldn't, one tight end going down shouldn't change your whole offensive dynamic. But it does. And it did. And then I know the Chiefs were missing Chris Jones as well. He's coming back next week. So their defense will be even better because their defense didn't look that bad, in all honesty. I mean, there was a pick six. Besides that, they gave up 14 points. I mean, that's what you want in the NFL. You're under 17. I mean, you're in games if you have a decent offense. But yeah, I mean, the Lions coming back and winning the way they did, there was a point where I thought they were done. I mean, you look at it right here. It's just when KC went up. I mean, KC just before the half going up was kind of one of those things where I thought that they would have a problem. I thought they were just going to stomp on them after that. But I mean, then you had that pick six by Brian Branch. And then the KC kind of just stalled out. I don't think it's going to be a problem going forward, obviously. Kelsey's going to come back. KC's offense is going to run normally. I don't think. I mean, Kadarius Toney caught a lot of shit because he didn't catch anything, but he caught a lot of flack for not catching things. I think he'll be fine. Sky Moore will be good. I don't know why they do. I'm pretty sure John Ross is on their team, right? I don't know why they're using him yet, unless he's not completely healthy. Not John Ross. It's not John Ross. I can't think of the other dude's name. Anyways, they have weapons. They'll be able to use them. I'm seeing chat. But yeah, I don't know. I just I don't think it's gonna be a problem for KC. It's gonna be interesting how the Lions go moving forward. They have a team. They've been built up well. They got a good run game. Defense is good. Goff looks like he's stepped over that hump finally, and I don't really think that he is the same dude that he used to be. So what I got from that game was just early pickups from KC, obviously health concerns in the beginning, and then contract disputes, whatever. They'll be fine. The Lions are going to be competing for that division though, for sure. Green Bay looked good, but I don't think they're I don't think you can really take playing the Bears and then just like run away with that division right away. You got to show a little bit more than that. Okay, so let's go back and get to the next Panthers Falcons. Didn't really see much of this game, but just off what I know from the teams, I don't think Ritter's dude. Bryce Young is going to have growing pains. He's a rookie. He's small. He's going to have to adjust a little bit. I mean, you got a dude like that trying to throw over a 6'8" lineman. It's like another Kyler Murray situation. You boom or you bust in that situation, man. And I don't know how that kid's going to be. I mean, because he has all the intangibles to be a great quarterback in the NFL, other than his height. I mean, and that's sad to say. The Panthers, I don't think they're really shooting for anything right now. So, I mean, I can't really touch on that too much. The Falcons seems like they thought that they were going to have something going after they drafted Bijan, and they settled on Ritter. I mean, he didn't have to do too much anyway. I mean, yeah, you see right there, he went 15 for 18, 115 yards. That's game manager type stuff, you know? The sad thing is Drake London didn't touch the ball. Like, he didn't not touch the ball, but I mean, that dude didn't catch nothing. And everybody was saying that this dude, like Drake London, is supposed to be one of the best receivers when he was drafted, and he doesn't seem to be going that way. Kyle Pitts is still kind of like so. I mean, you see right there again, 2 receptions, 44 yards. It's not really impressive. So, I mean, you can't really take away from the Falcons. You can't take much away from the Falcons beating the Panthers by 14. I mean, again, like I don't see the Panthers being anything that you need to worry about anyways. The division is terrible. It's up for grabs, really. I mean, I think Carolina's probably out. That's the only team. You got Carr in New Orleans, Tampa Bay, who actually surprised, and Atlanta, who we'll see where they go. I mean, because I don't think they're going to be terrible, but I don't think they're going to be that great. So that's pretty much what I got out of that. Like, I just looking it over, because like I said, I didn't really pay attention to that game too much. Browns Bengals. This is insane to me. I don't really understand how the Bengals. I know Burrow missed time. Like, I understand that with his injury, he missed time, but like, it's not like he doesn't know the offense. He knows exactly what's going on. For them to come out and just lay an egg like that, like not a 0, but like just 3 points with that type of offense, those weapons against the Browns, it's kind of insane to me, man. I don't want to say that their window closed, but I mean, if they don't get it together in the next couple games, it might be one of those things where they start offloading people, because Higgins is coming up on a contract. I don't know if they want to pay him, because they got to deal with dudes like I can't think of his name right now. Chase, sorry. Yeah, I mean, you got to take care of Chase. You got to think about that stuff going in the future. I mean, Burrow went 14 for 31 and 82 yards, and that could just be rust because he was missing stuff, like missing practices and some of the camp. But I don't think that should be cause for losing by 21 points to a division rival like that. And the Browns on that matter. Not to take anything away from the Browns, because if Deshaun Watson starts playing well, it's gonna be an issue for the league, because like, I will not stand for Deshaun Watson as a person ever, because everybody knows his issues and what he did off field. But that man can play football. I mean, you can't take that away from him. The dude can play football. You saw it when he was in Houston. If he gets back to anything like he used to be, that's going to be a problem. And they got weapons on that team. And I know everybody associates the Browns with just being garbage all the time, but I mean, there's a point in every team's just like their existence that they're gonna be good. I mean, and they've been kind of building up for us. They haven't been like terrible the last couple seasons or anything like that. So it might be their time. I mean, Baltimore didn't look that great either. Pittsburgh looked horrible. So we'll see what happens from there. But I mean, like, the Browns have a lot of potential, and the Bengals have the potential to go backwards. So we'll see what happens there. But I mean, like the Bengals should still be in a position to be able to win the Super Bowl, and if they regress now, there's going to be a real big problem going forward. Jags and Colts. So the Colts, they drafted Anthony Richardson. That is off of pure potential. The kid is an athlete. He wasn't that great at Florida, very raw. They decided to start him. Steichen is their coach now, which he's a good. I mean, Shane Steichen's a good mind, man, and not to say anything, but I was at UNLV with him for a little bit before my football career just went down. Like I got hurt and it was over. He was the quarterback there at that time, and like I mean, he wasn't the greatest quarterback, but he was very smart, and that's evident what he did in Philly. So he knows what type of person he wants in his system, and I guess Richardson's going to be that dude, and he could be that dude because he's a specimen, man. Dude can launch the ball with a flick of the wrist. He can run it. I mean, he's as fast as most of the people on the field. And then you got a dude like Michael Pittman on your team. You got a weapon there. I mean, if Jonathan Taylor would come back, that would be a problem for some teams, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I think there's going to be some growing pains with Richardson moving forward. He did a lot better than I was expecting him to do, in all honesty. So we'll see how they go. I mean, because I mean, you got Houston, you got Tennessee below them right now. Jacksonville probably should win this division, but I mean, Indy could make it a little interesting at the end of it. Now, Jacksonville's been building up for a few years now. They got a good coaching staff. Trevor Lawrence, who is Trevor Lawrence, man. I mean, he had growing pains when he was a rookie. He started getting out of it a little bit more. He started catching up to the game. He's showing it. I mean, he can ball. He's good, man. I mean, you can't take that away from the dude. And then you have Etienne, amazing player, and then Ridley is a monster. So you're looking at the Jaguars probably running away with this division at a point. Like I said, there could be Indy could just be looking like, because they're going to get a couple wins off of Houston and Tennessee probably. So they could be close for a little, but then I think in the end, Jacksonville's going to be too good for everybody. I mean, Jacksonville's a legit like contender to me, honestly. Like their defense is pretty decent. Their offense is going to be phenomenal by mid-season, I think. So I think we are going to be looking at the Jaguars taking that. That's what I'm getting from the first week, but I mean, it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, things happen, injuries happen, other teams make moves, so we'll see what happens going forward. Bucks and Vikings. Vikings, man. Okay, so you would think how the Vikings were last year, that they would just be running through teams like the Bucks, who have Baker Mayfield at the helm. That was not the case. Baker, they started off pretty rocky to me. Evans wasn't touching a ball. He wasn't getting targets. He seemed visibly frustrated. Mayfield Mayfield started giving him a ball. I mean, somebody had to have talked to him. I have to make that happen, but I mean, like, you should know that. I mean, Mike Evans is one of the best receivers to ever play the game. So you got to try to get that guy the ball, and Mayfield's success will hinge on him doing so. Because I mean, the Bucks aren't built really well to me right now as a team. They're not terrible. They're very middle of the road. Baker Mayfield is a complete toss-up. On the other side, you got Cousins, who's in a contract. I'm pretty sure he's in a contract year. I mean, the guy can put up numbers, but I mean, like, in the end, he needs to win the big game. And he lost one again here. So it's not a big game. I mean, but it's a game you should win. He put up ridiculous. I'm 33 for 44, 344, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And you can't take that away from the guy. The guy's always going to be a stat stuffer. But regardless, just like last year, when he won all those games, when it really mattered, they didn't win anything. So I don't know what's going to happen going forward with this team. I mean, they got potential, like just I mean, you're looking at like 10 teams that probably have the potential to make a good run at something. I mean, you got to do Jefferson on your team. I mean, nobody can stop the dude. So the Vikings aren't out of this whatsoever, because they are sitting in a division with Chicago, Detroit, and Green Bay. I think they can obviously compete with Minnesota or with Detroit and Green Bay. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Chicago looks like a cellar dweller right now, unfortunately, because one of my friends is like a big Chicago, or not a big Chicago fan, but he's a Chicago fan. But I don't see them doing that well. Okay. So yeah, so if we're gonna break it down, Bucks, I don't really know what their aim is right now because the team that they have is not Super Bowl potential type team. And the Vikings, I can't see them getting over a hump to be able to make like to win winnable playoff games. Not winnable, just big playoff games or big games in general. In the end, they're in the NFC. They're gonna have to deal with the likes of the Eagles and the Cowboys. Like, so I mean, I just don't see that happening for them. And their Cousins probably gonna be out the door. They might draft somebody. I don't know. So we'll see what happens with them. I mean, I just never look at the Vikings as like a real Super Bowl contender. So let's get on to the next one. Try to speed this up a little bit. Titans, Saints. Titans, Saints. So this is the thing. Okay. I am super critical of Derek Carr. I don't think he is that great. Guy puts numbers up, turns the ball over way too high of a clip. I mean, I was in an argument with somebody on Twitter earlier about this. Derek Carr is the fourth highest. He has the fourth highest turnovers out of all quarterbacks over the last 5 years. I think he's sitting at like 79. Surprisingly enough, Bills' Josh Allen is number one. He can get the ball downfield. He can win games. He's not a bad quarterback. I just personally have never I always thought something was wrong or off with the dude. So it's a personal thing with me, as well as the fact that I just don't think like he is going to win you games either. Like, I think he's like another Kirk Cousins type person. I mean, he sat in Las Vegas. He didn't win. I mean, what are they? They didn't win a playoff game. I mean, they went to the playoffs once in his 8 years, and then he got hurt. So, I mean, the success wasn't really there. I mean, it's he put up like gaudy numbers for the Raiders. Like, he's going to be on their like history as like one of the quarterbacks that put up some of the best numbers for them. But I mean, it didn't really amount to anything. That being said, he is on a team that has some pretty good weapons on it. Their defense is over average. They're above average. He can do something over there, and that's a lot coming from me because, like I said, I don't like to do it. I don't think the Titans are going to be that good this year. I think their bully ball stuff is over with. Like, people caught on to it. Derrick Henry is always going to be a problem, but there's bigger dudes that will step in front of him now. I feel like before it was like one of those things, like a lot of those dudes kind of like were just in awe of how huge this dude was. But the game has changed. People have gotten bigger. They know how to take him down. They know how to set up a defense against him. I just, and then D-Hop. I mean, I love D-Hop. It's one of my favorite wideouts. Just don't think he's going to be able to do anything with Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill threw 3 picks, as you can see. I mean, they're going to be calling for Tannehill's head in a couple games. So if I'm going to say Titans are going to be bottom 2 in the AFC South. And then we're looking at the Saints, who again are in that weak division. I think the Saints actually might win this division. Just off the top. I mean, we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's week 1. Get into it more later. But at this moment, I'm going to say Saints. Saints in the NFC South. And you get Kamara back after 6-game suspension. You got to do like Olave too. Sorry, I'm just thinking about things now about the Saints. So they're going to go as far as David Carr takes them. Derek Carr, sorry. David Carr is well out of the league now. Ooh, 49ers Steelers. Okay, I watched this game until I couldn't watch it anymore because the Steelers, I'm not going to lie to you, I thought they were going to be better this year. I thought Pickett was going to get over the whole, basically the way I looked at it, you have a limited playbook when you're a rookie quarterback. That was obvious. They talked about it, that they did not give him the full playbook. I thought it was a little weird in the beginning of the season because the offense coordinator said that they're not going to give him the full playbook still. Don't quote me on that. I'm almost 100% that I saw that, which is a very odd thing to me. So as soon as I heard that, it kind of changed my look on the Steelers. Excuse me. The Steelers, one of the most successful franchises ever in the NFL. Obvious. If you pay attention to the NFL at all, you know that. You got Mike Tomlin, who hasn't lost. He hasn't had a losing record since he's been there. So the teams are always going to be competitive. Is Pickett the guy? That's the question. I don't know. I don't know. He went 31 for 46. They're throwing the crap out of the ball. They got Najee Harris. They should be running a little bit more. I know they're playing from behind, so it made them throw. But I don't know. At a point, you just kind of establish and try to like figure stuff out because nothing was working for them. And I know the 49ers are just ridiculous. And like we'll get to that in a second because I had a little question about them in the beginning, but the questions were answered. The Steelers are probably still going to only go as far as their defense takes them because I don't think Pickett at this point is going to be winning you those type of games like that. Like he's going to carry the team. He needs to open up the offense more to get Najee to be able to run. I mean, because you got to do like Najee Harris, the tread on running backs' tires goes very quickly. You need to use them. You need to be able to capitalize on a dude like that when you have it. And it doesn't seem to be what they're doing right now. Then you got the 49ers. My question about the 49ers was Purdy coming in after his surgery, and you can see right there at return from elbow surgery, and how he would do going into year two, because people talk about sophomore slump all the time, and he was a huge candidate for sophomore slump for me. No, that guy is a very good quarterback. He makes really good decisions. I mean, his numbers aren't like eye popping. I mean, what is this? 19 for 29, 220, 2 TDs. He makes all the right decisions. He doesn't have to carry the whole team because you got to do like Christian McCaffrey on your team. And then you got Ayuk who just kicked the door down, man. Like I was very high on Ayuk when he came out of Arizona State. I really thought that he was going to be good right out of the gate. It wasn't the case. He's developed. They've developed him well, and then he's going to have every opportunity to be one of the better receivers in the NFL this year because you got dudes like Debo and you got McCaffrey and you got Purdy who's going to get him the ball. It's going to open things up for him. It's not like they can double him. He's a big dude. He's fast. The 49ers are the 49ers. They're just always going to be competitive until they're not. I mean, I know some people that are 49ers fans. I've talked to them about it before. The contract situations are going to come up. But in the moment, their window's been open for quite a while, and they haven't let it close. They've made mistakes drafting. They've made mistakes like with trades and stuff, but it doesn't seem to matter. I mean, and that's a well-ran organization, and that's where they're at. I mean, until something changes up there, or there's like some drastic injury, or they're going to have to release a bunch of people because the contracts are too crazy, then I mean the 49ers are going to be competing, and they should have won a Super Bowl by now. I mean, I think that they have the chance to do that this year because if they run into the Eagles again, if they have a healthy quarterback, I think that they can beat the Eagles because the Eagles didn't look that great. So if I'm looking at NFC West standings, San Francisco's going to win that. And Pittsburgh, I think, will finish. Shit, they might finish last. Hate to say it. This might be the year that Tomlin doesn't get his 500. I mean, I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like. I'm going to have to look at that because I know it's not just division stuff. But I mean, Cleveland looks nice. Baltimore, they looked okay. I think they're going to get better. The Bengals, I don't think are just going to stay in the shitter the whole season. I'm surprised I've been talking for 24 minutes. Can't believe I made it that far. Okay, so how many games we got? Quite a bit of games left. Okay. Now, Commanders, Cardinals. This will probably be quick. The Cardinals are a dumpster fire. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Everybody's saying they're tanking, but then they're talking about they're going to bring Kyler Murray back. I mean, they paid him already. I don't know who's going to trade for somebody like Kyler Murray, man. I mean, that's a unique skill set of a quarterback to fit into an offense. And just like Bryce Young over in Carolina, he's small. He's proven that he can get the ball downfield here and there. I mean, he makes crappy decisions sometimes. He's very shifty, so I mean, like he can get out of bad situations as well. So I mean, we'll see what happens with him. But I mean, like I don't know. So when I see him now, I feel like he should have probably chose baseball, and he chose football. Um, like I said, the Cardinals are a dumpster. I mean, they brought in Josh Dobbs, and they're starting Josh Dobbs. Like that's every indication that you're not trying to win games, even though they competed against the Commanders, who actually are better than they were last year. So I don't know. I gotta wait. It's a wait and see thing for the Cardinals. The Commanders, on the other hand, I think Howell will be a good quarterback. They have good players on their team, like Curtis Samuel, obviously Scary Terry, McLaurin. I think if they get into a groove, they should do well. I mean, Bieniemy is installing offense. I mean, he did it in off season. Obviously, it's going to take a minute for them to catch up, but I think they can be decent. Their downfall is the fact that they are in the NFC East. So I don't know how that's going to work out for them because there's a strong presence in the NFC East, and then there's just a strong presence in the NFC. So I mean, the wild card spots are going to be hard to come by. If I'm looking at that, Arizona is going to finish last to me, and Washington will finish third, I think. Which you'll see more about that after I get to the other thing. Texans, Ravens. This is what I was talking about with the Ravens. They didn't look good, but they are the Ravens. They have a good team. They have Lamar Jackson. It's going to take a minute for him. He was out most of last year. I think people put too much on training camp, like, oh, he's been in training camp, like he's been practicing, blah, blah, blah. It's not a game. So he's going to take a minute to get into game form. They have weapons. They lost J.K. Dobbins. Super sad because Dobbins is a great running back. It might be done for him. He gets hurt too often. I don't know if he's going to bounce back from this too easily. He might need to change the scenery too. I mean, maybe. What do they have? Gus Edwards, and they have Justice Hill to fill in after him, so they might be looking for somebody. Lamar is going to be Lamar after a while. He's going to win them games. He's going to make it exciting. I mean, even with them not playing well, they won 25-9. So I mean, there's not really a question about like stuff like that. I think that they're going to be fine. And in the case of the Texans, I mean, I think that they thought they were going to be able to compete. I don't think that that's right now. CJ Stroud is a good quarterback. I think he's probably one of the better quarterbacks coming out of Ohio State for a while. I think he has a chance to be successful. Ohio State doesn't produce great quarterbacks. I'm sorry to say. I don't know if anybody's an Ohio State fan out there, but it's just a thing. It's not a bias thing. I am not a huge Ohio State fan by any means, but I'll give them clear, like, just they produce good players. They don't produce good quarterbacks. Except, like I said, Stroud looks like to be a guy that might buck that trend. They have good players. They're just not there yet. They're young. The D'Amico Ryan's being their coach, I think that's going to take a couple of years. I think he's going to be a really good coach. I just don't think that it's going to be evident in the beginning. Great defense coordinator. I mean, that's evident, but head coach, whole different game. I think people put that like they put something on that. Like you think that you are a good coach and coordinator, and then you think they think you're going to be a good head coach for some reason. Like, but I don't think people really understand the difference of all of the coaching, like the coaching areas. It's something we can talk about later or another time, probably, because I think I'm running out of time unless my son stays asleep. Packers, Bears, one of the I don't know. I feel like overhyped performances in the sense that the Bears, I don't think are good. I thought they were going to be good until I saw them play. They're still the Bears. And like, I mean that in the sense of like, I don't think the Bears are always horrible. I just don't think over the last whatever amount of years that they've shown anything to show that they're gonna compete with teams. Um, I don't know what just happened there. Sorry, I'm looking at a. I had a podcast thing going too, but it's being weird right now. Oh, I guess I could just keep going. Oh, okay. I see it cut down because you can only do 30 minutes on your web browser. Okay, so Jordan Love. When they drafted him, coming out of Utah State, I loved Jordan Love. I thought he had all the tools to be an amazing quarterback in the NFL. He had Aaron Rodgers in front of him. He had to sit for a while. I think he's going to be good. I'm not going to talk shit about it. I think he's going to be good. Um, People were worried about it. I mean, you learn behind a guy like that in Aaron Rodgers. He was very patient. All the bullshit about Aaron Rodgers being a bad teammate, like I can't hear, because Jordan Love had nothing but good things to say about him, and I know like you're gonna say like what is he supposed to say? Is he gonna talk crap about him? But no, I mean, come on, like you can see in the play that he learned stuff from him. Um, Rodgers reached out to him like after he was named a starter and all that stuff and all the trade things happened. Uh, I just think I think Love will be fine. The Packers are going to be fine. I think that there was like questions just because it was a changing of the guard type thing because Rodgers is Rodgers. But in the end, the Packers are going to be a good team. They have a good defense. They have great running backs. I think something might have happened to Aaron Jones. I don't know if it was serious at all. I got to double check on that. But even then, they got AJ Dillon behind him. They'll be fine. They are probably going to be competing for that division by then, by when it's all said and done. The Bears don't have to get into it too much. Fields, for whatever reason, is not progressing as a thrower. I don't know if that's their coaches over there or whatever. Like, I mean, a lot of dudes will go in and get that, like, their mechanics checked, and figure out why they're not being successful on, like, I would say medium to long throws. Like his short intermediate game isn't that bad, but I mean, like you can't live off of that as a quarterback in the NFL. He can run the ball. He's a great athlete. He just needs to be able to take that next step, and it's not happening right now. I mean, I don't think it's something to raise alarms with yet. But he needs to change something. Or the coaching staff needs to be changed, or the people, his camp, like the people that he surrounds himself with, they need to step in and tell him that he needs to go get help as far as quarterbacking, like mechanics and stuff go. If he was able to throw the ball downfield consistently, he's shown it here and there, but if he was able to do it consistently, he'd be dangerous, and it's not there right there. It's not there right now. I'm sorry. So if I'm looking at that again, I'm going to say Detroit and Green Bay are going to be battling for the NFC South. Minnesota is going to be probably right there with them, but I think that's going to fizzle out. Chicago's going to be down at the bottom. It's almost there, reaching it. Okay, Raiders Broncos. I live in Las Vegas. I am not a Raiders fan though. I'm a Jets fan. I'll get into that afterwards. It's a rough life. Jimmy G is the ultimate game manager. So he is not going to be really losing you games if you're in the position to where you need him to drive you downfield and score a game-winning touchdown. I think you might be in trouble. I think you saw that when he was with the 49ers. If the Raiders have a good enough defense, they're probably going to be pretty decent in their division. I just don't think that their defense is good enough to hold them in it. They have a great running back. He didn't do that well this weekend. That's not going to stay the same. Devontae Adams is going to start getting the ball more. You can't lean on Jacoby Myers. I'm sorry. I mean, he went 9 receptions, 81 yards, 2 TDs. I just don't think that's going to last. That is not sustainable. But we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I'm not a huge Raiders fan. I've never been a huge Raiders fan, even when they came to Vegas. I'm not going to hate on them just because of that. It's just that I don't know. I think that there's too much out there for them to figure out and to show before you can kind of like see what kind of team they actually are. The Broncos, on the other hand, I mean, Wilson's numbers aren't horrible, but his yardage is. I mean, he went 27 for 34, but he only has 177 yards. Like, what is that? What's the? Hold on a second here. Check this out. So, 27 completions, 177. 177 divided by 27. That's 6.5 yards of completion. That is not good in the NFL, man. And it's crazy because like there was a point where Russell Wilson was obviously one of the best, if not the best quarterback at that time. And he's regressed. I don't know what's going on with him. He's older. Things might have changed. I mean, it just happens. Not every quarterback can play until they're 40. I don't even know how old he is right now. I'm not saying he's 40, but I'm just saying at like a certain point, even like in your early 30s, some players just they can't do it anymore. So I don't think Sean Payton's sold on him anyways. It didn't seem like it. It seems like he's almost like trying to push him to be what he wants to be. And if you're not what I want you to be, you can just leave type stuff. That's Payton's kind of mentality. It sucks because Denver's good on defense, man. They've been good on defense for a few years now. They have really good players on that side of the ball. They have injuries on offense. So, I mean, I can't really completely sell Russell Wilson right now. I mean, Judy needs to come back. They lost a receiver in camp. Their running back is decent. I don't know if he's going to be, again, like another type of player that's going to be winning you games. So we'll see. I don't think they're going to be that great. I don't think the Raiders are going to be. Raiders aren't winning the division. They might be in jockeying position for a wild card spot at the end. AFC West. Kansas City's probably still going to come back and win that. The Chargers are going to be jockeying for it. Oh shit, I haven't got to that game yet. Like I said, Vegas will be involved. Denver is going to have a rough season. I feel like I don't think Payton's going to turn that team around. He was talking shit like it's not his players, the system from last year, blah blah blah. It's like, bro, come on, you had an off season. Yeah, you can't point fingers. Like, there's no other coach goes and does that stuff. You know, they fix it. They fix it when they can, how they can, and then they go from there. They don't sit there and point fingers because like he seems like he's almost like gearing up for a bad season, which is kind of unheard of in the NFL. Other than like the teams that are supposed to be tanking, the Denver Broncos are not supposed to be tanking. Eagles, Pats. I saw highlights of this game. So basically what I got from this, I don't think the Eagles played well. I think the Patriots played better than they're going to for the rest of the season. Like I said, I'm a Jets fan. I hate the Patriots. I know when they're good though. I hated Tom Brady. I respected him though. So it's not I have a bias, but it's not when it comes to like me like deciding whether they're good or not, because I know when they're good and I know when they're obviously going downhill right now. I think there was a little bit of like a hangover thing. I know they didn't win the Super Bowl, but the Eagles just being there, I think there was like just that. I don't think they jumped on them early. I mean, it was 16-0. I think they got comfortable. And I don't think that's really indicative of what type of team they're going to be. I don't think this game shows what type of team the Eagles actually are going to be for the rest of the season. And like I said, I don't think it's going to show what the Patriots are, because like I think people got kind of excited thinking that the Patriots are going to be better than they are, because I mean they were in this game. Jones threw the ball 54 times. I can't see that lasting, man. Like, you have to have some type of run game. Mac Jones is going to be throwing picks at a point. I mean, he threw 3 touchdowns, only 1 pick this game, but Mac Jones gets shook. And he gets like very, I don't know if he gets angry or whatever he is. He just gets kind of like weird when things are against him. I feel like I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's a little different because, like, yeah, they were down 16-0 and he pulled them back into the game. So I mean, maybe he changed that about himself. But I've just seen that dude get shook and like it falls apart. So I guess we'll see what happens. I just don't think the Patriots are going to be that great this year. But I mean, now the division's a little opened up because Rodgers, that situation. Eagles will be fine. My son is moving, not waking up. Okay. The Patriots, coin flip. I'll go that. I'll say coin flip. Like I said, because I don't like them, I'm not going to talk shit and say they're going to be trash. I don't know. Their defense is always good. Bill Belichick is a defensive genius. Their offense is, I don't know. It's going to go as far as Mac Jones takes them. Another team like that, and if he's changed the way of his thoughts and demeanor or whatever, like his on-field demeanor is like really bad sometimes. So it's like we'll see what happens with that. They need a leader. Mac Jones doesn't seem like a leader to me. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but Philly, Dallas, and Philly will be battling for that spot up top. I think Philly will take it. New England will be bottom 2 in the AFC East. We only have a couple more games. This actually went a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Okay, let's go. I was going to skip, but let's skip because I want to talk about these other 2 games last. Rams and Seahawks. Kind of surprising. I did not think that the Seahawks were going to look as bad as they did. When they made the playoffs last year, I thought that they were going to be better. Like I thought they were just going to come into the season and things were going to be better. I don't know. I like Geno. I think last year was an outlier. I don't think that he's going to put the same season together as he did last year. I think they like jumped the gun a little bit talking about like Geno's your dude. So we'll see. Like I said, I like Geno. I would love for him to be successful, but I don't know. That game just didn't look good for him. The Rams, on the other hand, like I thought they were going to be bad. And I know Stafford was back, but I didn't know how healthy he was, but they looked really good. I mean, Stafford went 24-38, 334, no TDs, but he didn't have to throw them. I mean, they won 30-13. Right? Their running game was good. Kyron Williams had 52 yards, 2 TDs. I'll even open the box score because they got like some they lost Cooper Kupp for the first 4 weeks. They have some relatively unknown people catching the ball for Stafford. I mean, Tutu Atwell, you might have heard the name before because it's very unique and you probably have heard that name, but you didn't see any stats coming along with it till now. And then you have Puka Nacua, also the same thing. Like he's a rookie, so I mean, you wouldn't have heard of him unless you followed him in college. The dude went off 10 receptions, 119 yards. I swooped him up in fantasy almost immediately. I swooped him up in fantasy before this game just because of Kupp's injury. So if Stafford is producing with this type of receiving core and this type of rushing or running back room, I think they might actually be pretty good. I mean, their defense just needs to be able to handle business. They got Aaron Donald. I mean, it's crazy to think about, but a D tackle keeping you in games, that's what he does. He is a game changer. So we'll see how they end up, but they could be good. As long as Stafford stays healthy, I mean, they could be very good. And then Kupp comes back, and I think it's I forgot what IR he's on, but it's 4 or 6 weeks. I'm pretty sure it's 4. Hopefully he comes healthy because Kupp's amazing. I think the Rams are going to be pretty decent. I think the Seahawks are going to regress. Looking NFC West standings. LA and the 49ers will battle for a little bit. 49ers are going to win. When the 49ers end up playing Los Angeles, I don't think it's going to be too close. Arizona, bottom. Seattle third. Yeah, easy third. Okay, so then we'll bounce back to Dolphins Chargers. This game, if you like any type of defense, was a freaking nightmare. Um, uh, Again, like I said, I'm a Jets fan. There's very toxic Dolphins fans out there that I interact with on Twitter all the time, and I know it's the algorithm throwing them to me because I've talked to them here and there. I don't hate them for that. I just don't like the team. It's a rivalry thing. I think Tua is a great quarterback. I don't know if this game. I mean, he's shown it in the past, so he doesn't need to prove anything to me. I don't think this game is something to like just crown him on because the Chargers defense is absolutely terrible. And it's insane because I'm pretty sure they have one of the top spending on defense alone on their cap. And who was it? Ainsley? I think it's Ainsley. That's the defense coordinator over there. I was surprised that he wasn't fired after the game, man. I mean, if he puts another game to get like together like this, if they get another 30 dropped on him, I mean, if that guy has a job at the end of that game, I don't know what's going on over there because the Chargers have a good team. They just can't figure out the defensive side of things. The Dolphins defense is horrible too. The Chargers really didn't do anything that was too crazy to be able to like beat them like that. Their defense is bad. They had two good. Well, the last series was good for them, but that's the thing though. Is like when you have a situation where you know that a team's going to throw, they can pin their ears back, and they can just rush the crap out of Justin Herbert. So I mean, it's not really surprising. Herbert should probably got rid of the ball, or the play calling should have been a little different to help them out. But for the whole game, both of these defenses are terrible defenses. Vic Fangio is in Miami. He is a great defensive mind, but during the whole offseason, he did not seem like he was too happy with what type of players that they had. So I don't know. I don't like, I mean, he's going to have his opportunities to like send blitzes and stuff like that and make them look a lot better than they are. But this game wasn't really showing of what type of defense they are. Like, it was showing. I'm sorry. It was showing what type of defense they are. I can't see them being able to. It wasn't showing of what type of defense coordinator Fangio is. Fangio. Oh, because I'm pretty sure that he wanted a different job, and he ended up taking the Dolphins job. So, yeah, Dolphins Chargers. Defensive stinker, offensive entertaining game. I think you're going to get more of that. I mean, the fact that the Chargers did not cover Tyreek Hill is insane to me. And I know he's uncoverable at times, but there was literally times where he just wasn't covered. There was linebackers pointing fingers that should have been bumping him or like bracketing him to somebody else. The safeties were pointing at the linebackers. Like, that's crazy to me. Hill should not have gotten what he got. 11 receptions, 215, 2 TDs. He probably should have been like in the 150 area, which is still ridiculous, but I mean, it's a difference, you know? And then there was a boneheaded play at the end of the first half where the guy just, what was that? Was that Jackson? They threw a ball up and he just pushed the shit out of the receiver and gave him a field goal. They ended up losing by 2. So, I mean, that changes the game. Miami in the AFC East. They'll be jockeying 1-2 with Buffalo, probably. I don't know. If Buffalo gets their shit together, they're gonna give Miami problems. Like I think they usually do anyways. They usually do a split. I'm not commenting on the Jets stuff yet until I get to it. That's man, it's crazy. Yeah, I think New England's gonna fight. I think they're gonna finish last, man. Even with the Jet situation. The Chargers, they'll probably still be second. They'll be hanging with the Chiefs for a little bit. Chiefs will pull away. Actually, No, the Chiefs will get their shit together. Yeah, it's gonna be Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Denver. I don't know if I said that already. And then we have this guy. It was the worst game of the weekend by far. I mean, it should have been something. I gotta try to hurry this up because I don't want to cut another podcasting out. You shouldn't. I don't know. This is one we'll make short. The Giants weren't ready to play. Barkley looked like he was going to be able to run the ball in the beginning. They jumped away from it. The Dallas defense looked very good, but I don't know if that's because the Giants offense looked absolutely horrible. The Dallas defense didn't really have, or offense didn't really have to do too much, so you couldn't get a real good gauge of what type of offense they're going to be because they didn't have to do anything. Daniel Jones, I don't think is the dude. They paid him. They shouldn't have, or they should have paid him less, but then he might have helped out. They needed a quarterback. It is what it is now. They're going to have to deal with it. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're going to be that bad the whole season, but that's bad, man. Prime time, week 1, division rivals. You got 40 dropped on you, and you got a big ass shutout sitting on your side. So I mean, they're probably going to be 3-4 with Washington, and then Dallas and Philly going to be battling for first. Yeah, there's not much to say about that game. Mike Parsons is amazing. Their defense is going to be a problem. Like I said, I don't know if you could really say that just off the fact that they did this to the Giants, because the Giants offense looked really bad. But I think there's special teams, if I remember right. Like there was a special teams. Oh, but yeah, blocked field goal. That completely, I don't know. They were deflated as soon as all that stuff happened. I mean, shit. Like you look at this, it's a blocked field goal, interception return for a touchdown, and then basically it looked like the Giants quit. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to gauge off that game when it's that bad of a blowout in week 1. It's hard to figure out what type of teams these two teams are. Dallas should be good. They have all the talent in the world. Their defense should be amazing. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to reserve the last 8 minutes of that for this. One of the most up and down emotional roller coasters you're going to have as a football game. As a fan of the New York Jets, it was miserable. I mean, Aaron Rodgers going down in whatever 3-4 plays was one of the most gut-wrenching things that I could ever remember as a Jets fan. I mean, realistically, if I was telling my friends I was joking, and I am joking still, 5 to 7 years ago, I would have been on suicide watch because that shit used to depress the shit out of me. Being a Jets fan, you're almost used to it, which is sad. I was trying in all of my mind to think that shit was not going to happen, that something was not going to happen to Rodgers. My wife told me that she wanted nothing more than to fully support me and wanted me to be happy, but she was scared he was going to get hurt, and she was absolutely right. And that's I mean, it's obviously everybody saw it. The turf at MetLife is terrible. All the players say it. It's one of the most highest injury rates that players get, like season-ending injuries on that turf. I remember a couple of years ago, the 49ers were like saying crap about it. I'm pretty sure Darius Slay said something about it the other day. All the Jets players want grass. His foot got stuck in the ground. It shouldn't have. If that was grass, the grass it pulls away. It will leave a divot, whatever. His foot was stuck in the ground. Not to say that it was completely just that, like he shouldn't have been in that situation. People are going to lay blame on Dwayne Brown. It was a cut block. He was supposed to drop to the ground. Ball was supposed to be out. 3 steps and drop. It was 3-step drop. It was a slant route that was supposed to be hit. Wilson was open. I don't know what Rodgers was doing. I'm not going to say it's his fault. No, obviously, it's not. It's not Aaron Rodgers' fault. I mean, the guy's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. I don't know if he had nerves, whatever it was, or he saw something that somebody else didn't see, or he thought he saw something. but that ball should have been out. It should have been incompletion. Wilson was open, and this should have never happened, but it did. Um, moving on from that, uh, the the stadium was insane. The support was there, obviously, because the fact that Rodgers was there. Um, the fan base was amazing because they stayed there and they supported the team to the very end. It's hard for me. Sorry, I'm going. It's a little more detailed because I actually, I mean, I'm a fan of the team and I know this team a lot. It's hard because at points of the game I looked at it like it looked exactly like last year, and that's a 7 to 8 win team, and that's not going to be doing it in this division. I hope that Wilson gets over the hump. I hope that Rodgers stays around to help him. I know it's hard for a 39-year-old quarterback that might be the end of his career to stick around and help somebody like that, but they are friends. He was a good mentor when he was there with him during the offseason. We'll see what happens. Breece Hall is an absolute monster. That dude came off 10-month ace, or was it Achilles? I don't know if he did his ACL. No, it was his ACL. His ACL and his meniscus, 10-month, 10 carries, 127 yards. Dude didn't lose a beat. He's going to gain a little bit more speed, so it's going to even be better. Garrett Wilson's ridiculous. I mean, he made one of the best catches I've ever seen, not just because it's a Jets person, that the concentration and the skill to be able to pull that ball back across your body and then juggle it to yourself while you're being covered and held at one point is insane. The defense is phenomenal. That's what sucks too, is because the defense is so good. Rodgers with that defense would have been very scary, but we'll never find out. And I'm not going to sit there and dwell on it. I'm going to give myself a day or two, and then after that, I'm going to just go on, because I'm not going to sit there the whole season and be like, oh, well, if Rodgers was here, we would have won these games. It's not happening. He's not walking through the door. So I'm just going to support my team. Moving on to the Bills, and then we'll talk about the finish real quick. Josh Allen does not do good against the Jets in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It just never happens. I don't know what the deal with the guy is. He does good when they're in Buffalo playing against them. They'll probably split. I hope they don't, but they probably will. I mean, the dude turned the ball over 4 times. He made horrible decisions. He threw the ball downfield when he should have ran. The one touchdown he did throw was questionable. Again, not because I'm a Jets fan, but his foot was clearly over the line of scrimmage. They gave it to him. It is what it is. Running game still suspect. They need a running game. They still can't find it. They have the same team to me that they pretty much had for the last 3-4 years. So I just don't think that they're going to be doing anything. I think the door's going to close on them. They had talent, even with Von Miller coming back. I don't think that's going to be helping them too much. I don't think they're going to do bad. I'm just saying I don't think they're a Super Bowl caliber team. The Diggs looked good. Diggs looked better than I thought he was going to do, honestly. Sauce didn't look that good. Probably the worst game that Sauce Gardner had in the NFL so far. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I think he'll be fine, but it didn't look great. The win was amazing. The walk-off punt return from an undrafted free agent rookie who was one of the favorite people in Hard Knocks, so you can't write that script any better. It was absolutely amazing. It made me forget about the Rodgers thing for that split second. I was so happy for that kid, Xavier Gibson. It was just such a cool moment, and the stadium, and you could see just how electric it was there at the end. I think then everybody obviously settled in and they saw what happened. Not saw, but they came to terms with what actually happened and they witnessed. And it seemed like all of Jets Twitter and stuff was just very down today. We'll see what happens though. I'm just gonna support Zach Wilson, man. I hope he does well. I need him. I posted that on Twitter too. I need Zach Wilson to be a Mark Sanchez, not another Aaron Rodgers. You're not going to be Aaron Rodgers. I need you to be a game manager who's not going to turn the ball over. Let the defense handle shit. If you put up 17 to 20, you're going to win a lot of games. 17 to 20 points. It's not asking a lot in the NFL. We'll see what happens though. My best case scenario, the Jets finish 2. They're probably going to finish 3. They might have a chance at a wild card spot. They might be completely out of it. I'm not going to be here saying that the Jets are going to be 100% a playoff team. But yeah, that's it. I got 53 seconds. So I am going to try to do this throughout the season and see what happens, or just like shorten it and maybe bust it into 2 different ones. I'm just bored just gaming, streaming, so I'm gonna try to do different things. And that's it. So I'll see you next time. I might be playing COD tonight with my boy LB. We'll see what happens. I don't know how the day's gonna take me. It's been fun. You know what? I actually had a good time. I love football, so it's easier to talk about. And I will see you guys next time. Everybody have a great night. And yeah, that's it. Maybe I'll see you later. Peace.